Hello, my name is Celeste Nicely. I wear two hats. So imagine two hats right here. I'm a certified gap selling training partner, which means tech companies, hospitality, tech, SaaS companies. I work with them on a very specific sales methodology called gap selling, a focus on selling to actual business problems. I've learned a ton since I left hospitality a little over 5 years ago. I was a regional director of sales and marketing for 19 hotels, went out on my own, and now I train and support hospitality sellers on how they can embrace selling in today's digital world. I'm just off a training in Seattle with a team last week. So excited. If you stay till the end, you may think, how are Cory and Celeste going to be working together? What is this? We will tell you that at the end. Something new coming for all of you. Excited to be here. And both Cory and I prospect and are in the sales trenches every day. So this is not theory. This is things that we do to drive business as well.
Ooh, I love it. And I love the little teaser at the end. So you all have to stay to try to figure out what this is.
Carrot. I wish I had a carrot in my hand here.
Yeah. Oh, great. If you could take us to the next one here. We'll
Absolutely.
talk a little bit about today's menu. So we're going to start off. This is the two-course menu, so to speak, with a little bit of a halftime intermission for myself. So we're going to be starting off with Cory, talking about what and why AI search, how to be visible to AI. Then we're going to be going to Celeste, what and why AI search, how to be visible to AI as well too. We're talking more about like the prospecting and the selling side. So you're getting a bit of marketing, you're getting a bit of sales, you're getting a bit of everything here today, which is very, very exciting. And I'll just be coming in the middle here. So we do a little bit of a handoff in between. I don't know if I'm going to be taking 15 minutes, but let's see what it comes down to. During this entire webinar, please sound off with comments, questions. We will take them. We will answer them. We will hear your feedback. If you agree or disagree with things, it's always great to raise a bit of a debate and be interesting. So please engage with the content. It's made for that. It's not made just for the three of us to chat with ourselves. All right, Cory, take it away.
Before I move the slide, I must admit I made an error on Celeste's little agenda there. She is not going to repeat what I'm talking about. She's going to talk about prospecting and sales outreach specifically. So sorry about that. It must have been a lack of coffee last night. So let's roll this. By the way, we're going to unpack a lot here. So as we're going, I advise not to wait. If you have a question, drop in the comments. Love pushback. If you guys don't agree with certain things, because what we're going to talk about is it's different. And it's going to be against a lot of what a lot of people, specifically in hotel sales, is used to. But we want to hear it. This is great. The dialogue, questions, comments, we want to hear what you guys have to say. So without further ado, let's jump in here. So robots, I don't know if you guys saw the new Tesla diner that just rolled out. That is, I'm wondering if we could have an event there. It is absolutely, it's unbelievable. I'm not, like them or hate them, Elon, Tesla's doing some really cool stuff. That diner is pretty cool, the concept. Robots are on everybody's mind. And are they going to take our jobs in sales? Absolutely. Unless you're not a robot. And we're going to go into a little bit more about what that means and how we're moving from a product-centric environment to a people-centric environment. And so this is where we want to set the stage first. I don't know about you guys, but I'm literally have ChatGPT open all day. I'm asking questions. I'm asking specific outcomes. It's absolutely mind-blowing when you really understand how to prompt. It becomes addicting. And once you begin to train your mind on what you're doing for car insurance and homeowners insurance and how you can shortlist those things, naturally, those things are going to transition to what you're doing in business as well. Sourcing venues is no exception. So here's a quick wake-up call. And CVent, these are CVent's numbers, not anything that we made up. But planners, professional planners are already using AI right now to source venues. But they're also reporting, and this is another, I think, important metric to understand. There are so many others planning events that aren't quote-unquote professional planners. I ask our clients every month, they're saying, absolutely. We're getting questions like, what's attrition? Basic questions. They're absolutely planning. Admins, executive assistants. These prospects aren't using third parties. They've never heard of brokers. Do you agree? And if so, what are they using? If you're still skeptical, Trevor, We talked about this earlier. Fire up your own ChatGPT and drop that prompt and I think it will be a very eye-opening return on what you're coming back. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that at halftime. So if anybody has the ability, it's to drop that in. I'm going to leave it here because I know you can't copy and paste it. How Agentic Search is going to change hotel group sales. That'll give you a really good idea of what we're going to talk about. So what is it? It's not just a search, but it decides on and makes recommendations based on trust it sees online. It reads your online footprint. Being online is no longer a nice to have. It is a must have. And it's showing results based on earned value. That's based on humans and not bricks and mortar. And we're going to get into a little bit more of that. It's based on trust signals. We're calling it EAT. And ironically, that aligns really well with hospitality, right? So there's a lot of fun connections we can do with that. Expertise, experienced, trustworthiness, or authoritative. Forgot that A word there. All circle around trust. And trust is at a premium right now, right? We're not even sure what is real, guys. Why this matters? Because AI is the gatekeeper to your buyers. If prospects are doing what I just mentioned in ChatGPT, it's giving shortlists. It's not even giving sales an opportunity to connect with prospects early on. Planners and buyers, they're going to use AI to source. They're not waiting. No one wants to wait. I don't know about you guys. Oh, go to Amazon. I want it now. I want to see pricing. I don't want to wait. They've really set that bar high. This is a biggie that you'll find in that prompt. The RFP culture is going to be less important. AI is going to connect a prospect directly with a venue and sidestep most of the intermediaries. In fact, one of the outcomes of AI in Agentic Search was literally in their own words is to dissolve intermediaries, which is pretty exciting if you think about it, because now the word direct really becomes relevant. Visibility is going to be your pipeline. And Celeste is going to talk a little bit more about what that means a little bit later. Your digital reputation is going to drive your revenue. And expertise, all the trust signals that we talked about, track records, strong online presence, real reviews on the group side, by the way, because for the most part, reviews, video testimonials are non-existent on groups and events, yet they're trying to sell a 5 or 6 figure piece of business. I mean, we're obsessed with TripAdvisors, but they're relatively non-existent on group side. Crazy. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. And by the way, these are traditionally marketing activities, right? So at the core level of all of this is this stat that keeps going around. 80% of sales is going to be marketing because of Agentic Search. So you need to become BFFs with your best marketer. So we're going to talk a little bit about Product-Centric to People-Centric. Welcome to the age of Agentic Search. And I put together this cool little, jumped the gun here. It's not evaluating just venues. There's thousands of nice, amazing resorts and hotels worldwide that have 4 walls, a ceiling, a chandelier, and stacked chairs in the corner. It's looking for the people. So bringing your people into your sales process is going to be vital. Building that relationship before the first meeting starts. Specs and bricks and mortar don't build trust, stories do. Case studies, client success stories, personal insights. You're not selling a venue. You're selling a stage of expertise and outcomes. And agentic systems rank people who solve real problems. And boy, putting on an event, especially a big one, and when things can go sideways and suddenly the CEO is upset, there is an amazing amount of trust that goes into, especially if you're an admin that's looking to host their meeting at a venue and they have no idea what to do. It's the people that are going to build that trust. We're in a human-first sales environment along with AI. And those that show up online who are helpful and relatable are going to beat those to the punch every single time. And video, where am I at? This should be your next sales tool. Acting classes, Toastmasters, I don't care what it is. Getting yourself comfortable on camera is going to be critical to sales. Quick snapshot of the old way of selling a venue. And I still see my feed flooded with a lot of empty ballrooms and chairs and crickets. Not a lot going on. I don't even know where this place is. It's probably AI generated. It could be. But it could be any venue anywhere in the world, right? This is what prospects are looking for. People-centric outcomes. How you're using that room to crush your next event. How it helped a key sales kickoff call align the team and they drove revenue. And it's because your venue was the place where that magic happened. So it's not, let me show you the ballroom. Let's see how we utilize that to really absolutely crush our event. So sellers need to eat, right? Experience. Tell people how you've done this before, how you've successfully orchestrated, perhaps even a time where things didn't go right. Maybe flight was delayed or the ship didn't show up, whatever the case may be, but walking people, you were able to overcome that. Expertise, knowledge, authoritative. We're finding that big publications, and we use Hospitality Net. There's a lot out there, but we're finding PR, sites that have strong audiences, a lot of traffic. Those are huge trust signals. So being able to position some of your content on big sites like that, trustworthiness. Are you reliable, transparent, consistent online? If somebody says have some great things to get, I'm going to go back to the video testimonials. If you're having a great event, you can see the smiles, you can see the high fives, you can see things are growing. If you can get that on video and share that, obviously with their consent, but oftentimes if things are going right and they're having a fantastic time, they love to share their experience right then and there. That builds trust way more than any other sales activity you can use. So in a nutshell, if AI can't find you and trust you and prove that you can help and solve real problems, your hotel is not even going to make the short list. And I'm not trying to be dramatic. It's not happening next week. And I actually have a timeline that I'll briefly walk you through. But it's in the age of agentic search, it's your digital presence, first and foremost, that you can build trust, show proof. And if you're not doing that, ultimately your property is going to be invisible. As I mentioned before, I know there's a lot here. We are going to share the deck with them, Trevor.
Yeah, we absolutely can. Why not? I think that's a fantastic idea.
Great. We're in the early phases of this right now. It's the invisible filter phase, quietly shortlisting lists. Obviously, we haven't seen planners and others right now sharing what they're doing to find venues. But we're going to go through a tipping point this fall. And that's when sellers realize I'm not getting the RFPs. And I've heard it all from a well-known CMO saying we have seen a significant decrease. And I think it is AI. There's definitely a shift happening right now. And then we're going to see full adoption next year in 2027, where it's going to be proactive visibility. It's your reputation that is going to sell for you. So 5 action steps that I can't express enough to jump on right now. Again, Celeste is going to talk more about personal brands and why it's important for you specifically, your own value, and why it's important you as a seller. Personal brand is going to be everything. Turning case studies into gold, how you took what potentially was a problem and show them the hero's experience, a problem, the journey, and the outcome. On video, pure gold sales. I can't express the importance of building out a website that is built for direct conversion. Most everybody on this call right now, I will bet dollars to donuts that they do not have a short form on the website. They have a long RFP site with 50 forms on it. No one wants to fill out. They're making it very difficult to do business with their property. Your website is going to be your highest converting sales tool. And that's where your agentic content needs to reside, by the way. Create a content cadence of value that educates and not sell all the time. But when you add value, you're solving problems. Naturally, people are going to come to you and you're going to build trust. And last but not least, we're finally seeing the alignment of marketing and sales. Because as I mentioned before, early on, 80% of what's happening is happening on marketing or because of marketing. You're not going to get shortlisted if you're not aligned with marketing. Build those trust signals. And I'm going to wrap that up really quickly. So thanks again, guys, for joining us, and reach out, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm literally there loitering all day with likes of Celeste, who I met, by the way, and so many other, and Trevor. Trevor, you and I have never met in person. I would consider you a pretty good friend, actually. Celeste, I met on LinkedIn. We've met, was it once? Yeah, once. Both of you, I would trust you guys with most anything. And I've met and connected and built solid relationships right here on LinkedIn, and not at a trade show, by the way. I'm not saying trade shows are not to be ignored, but you can connect and you can network, as Celeste is going to get into, on LinkedIn over coffee every day, and it's amazing. So, Trevor, halftime.
Yeah. And with that, I have to start. Cory, share your LinkedIn in the chat, please, so people can link to you really quickly. With our halftime performance today, as we might want to refer to it, I'm just going to do a quick summary. I see we have some people here who's run the prompt. And then if anyone else wants to run the prompt in the meantime, please do so. It is in the chat. Let me just copy paste it so that you can grab it again if it's buried for you. We're asking the question, right? In the most succinct, straightforward way, how will Agentic Search, Agent Search change hotel group sales? I think we're seeing a lot of very similar topics. There's different variations in the answer, but what are we seeing here? I'm typing this as I saw here. What are we going to see? Streamlining sales. We're seeing removing barriers and freeing up time for salespeople, focusing on closing deals and building relationships. Starting to see a bit of a trend in what we're talking about here. Hotels are going to have to be more competitive, less reliant on RFPs, because that's not where people are going to be coming from anymore. And hotels are going to need to be more responsive, transparent, and tech savvy. But at the same time, this is going to be removing tedious tasks, which I'm sure every salesperson wants to do. I've been a salesperson, and that's probably the worst part of the job, right? Checking boxes and going, did I do my 10 things today that I had to do?
Oh, but
I think what we're seeing.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Quick ad. Remember I started with the robot, Tesla robot?
Yeah.
Technology is, and what I meant by, unless you're a robot, because technology is going to remove the transactional part. So you can focus on being more human, which is the opposite of being the robot. So I wanted to clarify that. So it's leaning really into that. Good stuff.
Yeah. If you think about the opposite of most of these things, don't they just sound like a robot? Right? Totally. Doing tedious tasks, responding constantly to emails with probably very basic answer, kind of checking boxes. I'm sure that's not what everybody gets into a relationship-based industry about. When I think that actually might be the smoothest transition I can give over to you, Celeste, as we start talking about maybe why we are in sales and what we should be thinking about as salespeople. And you are muted, I believe. So.
All right. That said, we're going to shift a little bit. And I know that was a lot. And you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, how do I learn marketing? How do I do all this? This is really just to start pushing that narrative that it's time to change. This is a wake-up call for the industry. We're here and we're going to help you. So don't worry, that help will be coming later this fall. But also, we can't stay where we are. So I was with a team last week, and to piggyback on what Cory was talking about, I had them run a search for the best hotel salesperson, and we put in some criteria in the Seattle market. And guess what? That team of 13 did not show up in the AI search results. Why? Because they're not pumping out content. They're not active on social channels. So therefore, they are a ghost when it comes to showing up in a search. We can all change that, and we are here to help you because, again, as people lean on tools to help them cut through the noise, we want to ensure that you show up front and center so that you are shortlisted. So I want you to think to yourself, if you're in a hotel sales seat right now, and I'm really going to buck the system, but I can because I no longer work for corporate, and I want you to think, if your sales leadership management company ownership came to you tomorrow and said, I am taking RFPs away from you. You are now a full-time salesperson, what you were hired to do. I want you to go out and generate a couple $100,000 in pipeline. Drop in the chat. Would you be like a heck yeah? Or I'm running for the hills because I signed on to be an order taker. How would that resonate with you? When I asked the team last week, they're petrified, right? We don't know because we've been doing this for so long. We don't know how to actually go out and get more pipeline. And I can tell you, I spent 13 years in hospitality. Prior to that, I was in event and meeting management. And it's scary to cold call, to talk to people. But when we remove ourselves from the outcome, we can actually start to have conversations and show our credibility. I'm going to challenge these two on the relationship selling. It's really the credibility that leads to people trusting you. They find value. So I want you to think about this. Are we prepared to go out there and build our own pipeline? Because I guarantee you, AI RFP responding is coming. And your ability to just sit and respond to RFPs all day is going away. So we have to be able to switch to bring in pipeline. So I want you to start thinking about LinkedIn and ChatGPT. If any leadership is on here, they are free, right? The 0 prospecting engines that you shouldn't overlook. And here's why. So really quickly in the next few minutes, we're going to talk about what's changed since the pandemic. Your digital Rolodex, if any of you are old enough like myself, we all know what a Rolodex is. If you don't, go look it up. And how that has changed your personal online website. How you can leverage LinkedIn and ChatGPT as your prospecting sales assist. And then 2 things you can do right now, today, as you leave this call to start generating more avenues to go down, to find more people, to start more conversations with. So what's changed? I took this right from ChatGPT. Traditional, and I was a traditional hotel seller, right? Riding the elevator, doing the drop-offs. I had one hotel when I was a regional. They spent $30,000 a year on freaking DoubleTree cookies to give out to people. If there isn't some type of ROI or attached to that, like, what are we doing? So all the drop-ins, just dropping off to staying top of mind, networking events where we all huddle around everybody in hospitality because that's who we know. It's now shifted. Modern selling. Most people are remote or hybrid, so we have to meet them where they are. We'll talk about that here in a moment. LinkedIn posts, social threads, comments. I have a comment from a week ago. It has over 32,000 impressions. 32,000. It's reached. One comment. Smart outbound. We have to get really smart, engaging with executives in the comment sections, and then trigger based. So when we see something, we say something, and how we can use AI to prep that. So this is what a Rolodex looks like. I had to tell some of the team last week. You sat on our parents' desk and you'd write people's names in it, and then the business card, you'd put it in there so you could go to their name. So this has shifted, and it is now LinkedIn, it's here. Sorry. I'll go back to that slide. This is our online business card. If you don't know, on LinkedIn, you actually have a QR code. You can go to the search bar and you can hit your QR code at any event. As you're prospecting, you want to talk to somebody later, you meet someone, you want to see who they're connected to. You can do that on LinkedIn. You can see who the connections of other people are. Here's my QR code. Let's connect. That is your new digital business card. So when we talk about why, here are some stats. So it's not just Cory and Trevor and myself telling you this. Cory shared. I almost said Sherry. That's Cory and shared. Some of these, but here are a few more. 51% of event decision makers are hybrid or remote, so drop-ins don't work. 83% of event planners checked LinkedIn before engaging a venue rep. Hello? What story are we telling them about ourselves? So prospecting is 2 ways. You may be looking to find people. They're also looking to find you. What story are you telling them and how you can help them and what your expertise is? 67% of planners already have a shortlist before replying to outreach, and traditional networking has a very limited reach. LinkedIn, as Cory said, is a 24-hour trade show. You can access 1 billion users. That's how many. It's the world's largest CRM. Whatever CRM that is, event, that's unlimited. You can add more people to it, and you can find them on LinkedIn. So I'll drop it in the chat right here. You don't have to share, but if you wanted to, If you are a seller and you are not aiming to be in the top 1%, I'm going to say, are you competitive? Do you want to win? We all want to win business. We all want to be the best. Many of us did sports and we're like, yeah, let's go. I want to be the best. I want to be seen. LinkedIn is grading you. It is giving you a score. It is called your SSI. Sorry.
Social Selling Index.
Woo! Thank you. I'm like trying to talk a million miles an hour here. You all really fire. Did you have a lot of coffee? And if anybody knows me in real life, Cory chats on the often. We'll tell you that in a minute. I'm like so low energy, but when I do these, I'm so full of energy because I'm so excited. So your social selling index, I promise you in the next couple of years, when you go to interview or you're looking for a promotion, people are going to start asking you, hey, what are you bringing to the table? What is your social selling index? What is your community? How well do you network? It is all right there. So that can be eye-opening. We can go into how to change that separately. So look at that. That is a great place to start. So options. We can email people. I don't know about you, but my reply rate went from 18% last year, and I'm now in the 2%. Email reply rate is so low because there's so much noise. Cold call, very low conversions. It still remains one of the best channels to have a direct conversation with someone. But now there's LinkedIn, where you can get a 30 to 40% acceptance rate. Most of the time, people will respond to you if you're not spammy. It is a great place to be able to start conversations. And if you think I'm kidding, go pull up your second inbox, your junks folder, and see what's in there. It just goes for days and days, junk, because everybody's clicking the easy button to try to get people to respond to them. So when we think about what should be your first channel for prospecting, LinkedIn. Social sellers win more deals. So there's some information here. Reps that actively leverage LinkedIn outsell colleagues by 78%. Decision makers are already vetting you online. So 4 out of 5 people on LinkedIn are a decision maker. 63% of C-suite and BP execs say they use social media, chiefly LinkedIn, to research potential purchases of partners. And LinkedIn delivers. So there's information on that. The stats go on and on. It is still a great place, providing marketers say about 80% of leads generated from social start from LinkedIn. Now you add in ChatGPT. It is endless prospecting. I guess I didn't update this slide. Sorry, I copied it. So we're going to do LinkedIn plus ChatGPT. And while we don't have time to dive into how do you do this, what do you do, we have that coming on a drip. I just want to show you 2 things that create social proximity. So again, as people are no longer in their office, they're not behind their desk, they're inundated by emails, you have the option to have social proximity to them. So just as Cory said, we have social proximity. Cory and I have met one time in person when I was doing a training out near San Diego. But we have endless social proximity because I ping him all day long in the DM. We're in each other's comment section. You don't have to live or be near someone to have great social proximity. Your name, your face, your insights keep showing up. People will tell us all the time, we see you everywhere. It's like, no, we're just online. We are prospecting. We are starting conversations. So we want you to think about that. How do you rise to be that person where they're like, oh, Vinny, I see him everywhere. It's almost like I know him. We've never met. I need a hotel. I'm contacting Vinny. That's where we're trying to get you to go. And it is a low lift. So as an example here, and again, I don't have time to screen share and go into all of this. I pulled up a keyword. LinkedIn is driven by keywords. So this is why it's imperative that your profile is built out. Cory actually has a tool that he can either drop in the chat or we can send after this where you can grade yourself. How well do I show up? So I want you to think about the keywords. When I look for someone who is a travel planner, I can go to the filters. This is advanced prospecting here, and this is the free part still. And I can put in people, Denver, travel planner, Colorado. I even did a company, which was the University of Colorado. And boom, I have 3 travel planners in and around this. One is procurement, I think, for the University of Colorado. That took me all of less than a minute to find. Now I can figure out what my plan is to saturate this account, to comment with them, to send them a connection request, to get thoughtful in my approach. versus sending them my freaking need dates that say, curious, these are my need dates from a hotel. Do you have any hotel needs? Nobody's going to respond to that. But if you come in how their world, there's an article, there's something that you saw that relates to them, that shows a value and you've actually done your research, and you can do all that research on ChatGPT. Okay, so LinkedIn, great place for prospecting. I want you to be driven by keywords. Secondly, move that over to ChatGPT. I put in a prompt, I made it up. I had to tweak it a couple of times. Let's say I'm in a hotel and I've been told, like, you've got to do some prospecting. And I want to find companies that are coming into the Denver market, not headquartered here, that are sending business that maybe other people haven't heard of, that are those like hidden gems or gold. I put this in last night and this is what I got. And I even went further to say, what hotels are they using? Who are the contacts that may be worthy of reaching out to? And it gave me all of that information. I can then go to LinkedIn, or if you have a Zoom Info, and you can start finding their contact information to start having relevant, timely, personalized conversations. Again, that's a secondary topic. I'm just showing you the power of LinkedIn plus ChatGPT. So it gave me 5 companies right here. I've never heard of any of these companies. I live in Denver. I'd be all over this if I was a seller. So 2 things. I put this like, this is supposed to be a toe. It's not a thumb. It's a toe. Like, all right, how do I dip my toe in the water? Because this is a lot. 1, in your day-to-day, who are individuals inside your hotel, in your revenue meeting, inside your venue, on an arrival sheet? Just start to get curious. Who are these people? Let me go look them up online. I had the team last week go into just their emails. All the people you're talking to every day, are you connected with them online? And the majority of them were like, we're not even, the DOS was like, I worked with the Mariners for 10 years. I'm not even connected to this woman online. And then I said, who else in the company do we want to be connected to? So that is a great dip my toe in, go to your email, go to your CRM, go to your arrivals list. Who do you talk about in RevMax meeting, if they still call it that, digital marketing meeting, your revenue, and am I connected to them on LinkedIn? If not, send a connection request. Then what companies are we talking about? Get really curious. This is that business intelligence. What can I find out about them on ChatGPT? And can I find this person on LinkedIn? So that is like the lowest level of 2 takeaways that you can do today to start building that social proximity that's going to be so important. Okay. Do we want to like break for any questions, or do we want to go what time is it?
I think we need to put out that fire you just started on Zoom. Oh man, that was good.
I get really excited. Again, if any of you know me in the real world, you're probably like, who is this person? But I get so excited about this because honestly, I wish 15 years ago, and even when I left 5 years ago, I was dipping my toe into LinkedIn. If I had all of this, I would have put the RFPs away and I would have been like, I am building it. I'm going to build it and they are going to come. And it's freaking awesome. Once you detach from prospecting is scary. What if they say no? Who cares? Move on.
Hey, Celeste, you might want to bring up a really good point. Can you tell me why you would go after direct business versus waiting for RFPs to come in?
Okay, first of all, direct business, a higher likelihood that they're going to book with you. You self-source them. I've recently done this myself from a gap selling lens. I think out of 3, I won 1. But that's huge. Like I went after 3 companies, I won 1. And I can tell you, I was up against 400 people in the comments. Everybody was zigging. I zagged. And I got a meeting. I got shortlisted for that one. I won another one. That's a 33% win rate. Most of us aren't winning 33% in RFPs. Like we're winning like 11, 10 less in many companies. Plus ownership, management company, your P&L, profitability, you're paying for non-direct business. When a planner sources it to you, you're most likely paying a third party. Fees. We all want to cut down on those fees. When I used to look at a lot of P&Ls, we're getting into like hundreds of thousands of dollars that we're paying for a third party. Love the third parties, but I'm saying if you had to build your own pipeline and you had to eat and your job and life depended on it, you would put down those admin tasks and you would focus on what is my quickest path to cash which is going to be starting conversations and finding people using keywords who are in and around your space or have that social proximity.
I think I can add in here too. And let's just frame it this way for everybody. Where would you rather be? The area where you're competing with 100 other fish for that one piece of food, that one piece of business, or today? There's a greenfield and open opportunity. It exists for anyone who wants to go out and hunt it. And it really does. Like I mentioned in the chat, a 60 out of 100 on a social selling index will put you in the top 1% in this space. That's not even a 60 out of 100 is not doing too much. So what I can say is that's a very, very good indication. Even if everybody on this chat here today, it's over 150 people or so, did this and got up to a 60 out of 100, that's still such a small amount of people. Probably most of you who are on here today are not even competing with one another. You're in different markets, different areas, different cities. I think if anything, that's just such an indication of not only is it very profitable, but it's also, if you're going out and you're proactive and you're ahead, you're not competing too. Who wants to compete? Competition is good for us all. It's not very fun. So get ahead.
Yeah, and I will say the hospitality industry is very well fed. RFPs flow in, many brands, or if you're affiliated, an independent, you're affiliated, you're being given a lot of business. And in most industries, that's not the case. When in my other business, we have an SDR, 1,600 dials a week he is making to try to book 3 meetings a week. When you're not being given that, you have to figure out a way how to self-source. And self-sourcing means a direct path to make your goal, keeps management off you. You look like an A player, but it just gets easier over time. You know so many more people. And I know a lot of you are probably sitting here, I know a ton of people. But are you showing up to where they are and then hitting all those other people within their organization so they see you and over and over and over again?
You had a really good point. You said the hotel industry has been well fed and they've been fed business. It's not necessarily business that they're being fed. They're being fed low barrier opportunities that convert at a very low level. So there's a lot of work that goes into that, right? And it all oftentimes boils down to documents with the lowest price. Not much. That's the differentiator, right? So when you build a direct funnel, you have less price sensitivity. You have the ability, as Celeste said, it's not commissionable, it's more profitable. You have the ability to build a relationship one-on-one and get that repeat referral, word of mouth business and get that pipeline going, right? So you're not relying on RFPs. Not like you said, it's not that third parties, they have their place, but when you can build a more direct pipeline, you're less reliant on that. Yep.
Yeah.
So I think I'd challenge the audience here too and just say, when you're answering an RFP, do you really feel like you're putting your property in its best place? Are you selling what makes you unique, or are you just giving a price in a space?
It's an endless loop, right? Because the win rate's so low, it's like, probably not going to win it anyway. So you're in that perpetual loop of not always putting your best foot forward on that. Great.
And I would say most RFPs, sellers don't have the opportunity to influence the sale. You can't figure out what their decision criteria is going to be based around. So then you can curtail how you show up to ensure you fit that decision criteria. You don't understand the buying process. When it's a blind RFP, you have one shot. It's very low level. And as sellers, we influence the sale, but that comes into a deep understanding of the business and being able to connect with that person, have conversations. And then, yes, Vinny, and then we all send, elite sellers no longer send the just checking in, the just following up. You're rewording it to actually go back into something that you uncovered during that discovery, that sales call, and tie it back into that. But the blind RFPs, we don't have, it's just a shot in the dark.
And you don't get a chance to differentiate yourself. You're right. It brings up the question of, Benny brought it up. What is the definition of selling in hotel sales?
I don't think it's answering RFPs.
A lot of people who have just come into the industry, that's all they know. And it can be very scary to think,
yep.
What do you mean I have to go out and find my business? I don't want to talk to people. I don't know. I haven't been given the tools, the skills to know how to have a conversation, what I'm actually looking for. So then you default to, many of you might not know you're doing it, but it's called BANT. It was created by IBM to disqualify people. I heard it last week. It starts with Rate, states, and space. Rate, states, and space. It's basically what's your budget? Like, I'm trying to sell you. I'm trying to qualify you. Now, a great elite seller puts the budget on the side, and we want to understand your outcomes. What are you trying to drive? What KPIs are attached to this? So we can help you see what the value is, so we can overcome that price objection. But if all we get is a blind RFP where we have to submit price, most of the time it comes down to price, proximity, and or brand preference, sadly. See, Paul, I'm glad that you're here. Yeah, the hey following up. So if you want a quick tip I can share with you, our brain goes to just following up, just checking in. So I have a very large deal from the gap selling side, 2 of them. And I want to just follow up and just check in, except I don't want to say that. So I take the information that I got, where we left off, what I know their next micro agreement is, and I put it into ChatGPT and I say, help me come up with ways to say this to where I don't say, let me know, just checking in, just following up. Now, I don't copy and paste what ChatGPT says. I put my own words around it that make it sound human and me. But that is a great thing to do. If you catch yourself wanting to follow up or check in with someone, say pause, let me go to an AI tool and ask, what are some other ways I can say this without saying just checking in, just following up?
That was awesome. And I'll add another level 2 on top of that is, as Celeste just underscored here, is when you're connected with somebody on LinkedIn that you have in your pipeline and you're in Celeste's situation, what I do, and it's been working beautifully, even after 3 or 4 ghosted emails, again, I pick this up and I'll put myself on video and I'll say something of value. Had you thought about this? Or, hey, just thought of another tip. Send. I don't say, let's reconnect, or it gets me back top of mind with them. I'm showing something of value and then I go away. And I can't tell you how many times people have just said, oh my gosh, I was just thinking of you, or I'm glad you reached out. It gives me the impression I'm trying to, and I'm not asking something of them. And it's all about context too. Audio. So if you are skeptical of putting yourself on video, you can go to the audio route. And I don't know if it's LinkedIn Premium, but it's really cool. You just hold the mic down instead of texting a DM, leave a short, sweet, warm message, hit send, boom, done. And it finds their inbox.
And I think to add on to that, this is where great discovery can be your best friend. And Celeste was talking about, because let's say you'd been talking to this sports team, they're debating you and maybe another, you haven't heard from them, you know it's coming up soon. You can reach back and say, hey, I was thinking about that group that you have coming here, and it got me thinking about our meeting space and that big TV we have. And like, did you know you can connect through this? There's many ways you can tie into the conversations you had and bring up that value that you're offering, that you're doing this maybe unique to your property. And again, getting away from the rate in the space, but talking about maybe, hey, can you see yourself in here doing the thing that you're wanting to do?
Where I feel like we failed the hospitality industry, having come up as a seller and then above property, is my eyes were completely opened when I started selling into SaaS and hospitality, and I had to up my business acumen. Actually, Cory is the one who suggested I read gap selling, so much so I joined and became an apprentice, and now I'm a partner with them. And that is really the goal, is to help sellers understand, A, how to use prompts, how to look for information, how to have discovery. So sellers don't really do a lot of discovery. It's more so, let me walk you through this checklist. How do we get away from that so we truly understand a planner and what KPIs are attached to this, what outcomes they're looking to drive, what is the event going to do, what's important to the group, and we get into that business conversation so that, as Trevor mentioned, we can keep supporting them through that sales journey and the buying process with value, or challenging them to think about something. So I was just in Seattle, a quick note, and they're challenged. They sit on top, a luxury property sits on top of a hill, so to speak. They're 6 blocks from the convention center, and they constantly get all the time, like, people don't want to walk up the hill. It's too far from the convention center. So I was out taking some video, and I came back and I was like, hey, do we ever dive into the wellness program of what can we find about that? How can we attach some type of like wellness or step goals, or actually walk the steps to the convention center to show how many steps their attendees are going to get, tie some type of contest around it and put it against the goals of the company, their health and wellness, versus it's too far. and just saying, it's not really that far. But that comes from a deep understanding of doing research about the company versus just responding to an RFP.
And it's a beautiful way of overcoming barriers and objections. It's especially if you had just mentioned before, that's the first things that you want to talk about and eat is tackle those barriers head on in your content. Exactly how Celeste just served that up. Beautiful.
So with that, I know we have a couple of minutes left. We want to give you a takeaway because we have something for a couple of you that can apply to see if you're it. But Trevor, any takeaways or last questions that you want to ping the audience?
I got nothing on my end, so let's jump into the big tease.
Big reveal.
The big
You guys are
reveal.
hearing it first. So backstory. So Cory and I met on LinkedIn. It'll be 3 years ago in October on LinkedIn. And now we're building a business together.
Yes. How about that? You talk about building relationships and trust online. I'm now connected financially with her, and we've met in person once, which is crazy. Crazy awesome, by the way, which is a great segue into this amazing new idea that we came up together, Sales on Tap. I'm going to let actually Celeste, you teed this up, and we've been working feverishly over the last several weeks to get this to this point now. And can you share a little bit about this?
Absolutely. So we understand that sellers are hungry for training, but what comes after training, the constant reinforcement, what is changing? How do I use prompts? What is AI? How do I dive in that tactical day-to-day, but in a place that's not overwhelming? And so as I sell into hospitality companies, I'm always hit by the VPs of sales of, we don't do training. We can't afford training. That's the first thing that gets cut. And there's like this disconnect of sellers have to go out and find it, but we don't know how, especially if you're new. And if you've been there a while, you want ongoing training. So training events typically happen. And then the Ebbinghaus's forgetting curve, 7 to 10 days later, we've forgotten everything because we haven't changed our behavior. So Cory, Susan's Cory's partner in lore, we've come together to create a company called Sales on Tap. And what's going to happen from a sales and marketing world, and Cory can talk about the marketing world, is that we are coming to market at basically the price of a latte. It's so low, it is laughable, because we realize training has to happen and then never stop. So you will be getting drip content, access to a community, retention, us in the weeds with you, webinars like this, bi-monthly, monthly, as well as office hours on how do I do this? And you'll be taken on a journey, and we never leave you, and we're always on. The sales is always on tap. So right now we are looking for beta testers. That means individuals who are willing to give us about 5 hours of their time over 4 to 5 weeks to test the curriculum. So not the community, but the curriculum. If that's something that you're interested in, you can, I think Cory, we have the link, right? Where they can.
Website is salesontap.community. It's just one page there. It looks similar to this deck. You'll see a little bit more details on the nuts and bolts and how Celeste teed this up on the video. It's really going to be fun. It's going to be gamified. It's going to be actionable and snackable. That's how I'm watching my YouTube.
Yeah.
Like finances, my crypto, all the cool stuff at night. I've got it teed up. It's literally 10 and 15-minute videos every night. And I can find myself really beginning to have it sink in. Repetition, repetitive, and then having that hand-holding element as part of that process in a community that's built for engagement. It's going to be fun. We're going to have some laughs. It's going to be something really different, specifically in the hospitality space.
Yep. And then if you're with a management company at a certain size, you'll have your own dashboards. You'll be able to see people, what they've completed, where they are on the journey. Everybody gets the same baseline curriculum. You can show investors and owners that you have a leadership track. So this is unlike anything that's out there right now, where training is usually a one-time event and then it goes away. This is going to be training drip to you. You'll get the baseline knowledge, and then we just keep hitting you with what is happening in the industry, obviously taking your questions and turning that into content and helping to support you so we all level up. Again, we're looking for beta testers right now for the curriculum piece, and then we'll be approaching management companies later this fall for actual onboarding. So we'd love participants and feedback.
Beautiful.
And for everyone here,
We'll also have partners who will join us to talk about like Event Temple, right? Specifically, how do we use that? How does this integrate? So we'll be bringing in partners as well.
You'll definitely see me in there. And just for everybody, because we're near the end of time. We'll send this out. We'll send out the slide deck. We are sending a recording. You're gonna get everything. We won't hold back on you. You get it all. I'll go through here and all other links. I'll make sure we're sending every link we send, everything that we sent. So in case you're missing it or anything like that, we'll be sure to get it to you.
Wonderful.
With that, do we have any other closing words from anyone before we take off?
Celeste?
Thanks, Brianne. Thank you for everybody. I appreciate it. We know this is a little bit longer of a session. Moving forward, we know we'd like it to be snackable, but there's so much to uncover. Just start.
And
thank you both.
Yeah, we're always here. So if you got to, again, connect with us on LinkedIn and let's pal around online. And thanks everybody for showing up. This is fantastic. Super excited about all of this.
Thank you everyone for showing up. Cory, Celeste, cannot thank you enough. Always my favorite sessions of the year.
Thank you. This was wonderful.
Thanks for having us.
Have a wonderful one. Bye everybody.